Have you ever wondered how companies just know what you want to buy, or how pollsters seem to predict huge elections? Well, it's not magic, it's research. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the skills that make it all happen: sampling and data collection. This is how we start to make sense of our big, complicated world.
I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. It sounds completely impossible, right? You can't just go out and talk to every single person in a country or every single user of an app. So how in the world do researchers get answers they can trust? Answers that actually represent the whole group? Well, the secret is in this awesome, simple idea. Imagine you're making a giant pot of soup. To know if you've got the seasoning right, you don't have to eat the whole thing. You just stir it up really well and taste one spoonful. That one little taste tells you everything you need to know. Research, it works the exact same way. And that spoonful of soup, that brings us right to our first big topic: mastering your sample. This is all about the who. It's about choosing that perfect spoonful, or, in research terms, figuring out exactly who you're going to study to understand the bigger picture. So here's the core idea. That small group you study isn't just any random bunch of people. It's what we call a sample, and it's carefully chosen to be like a mini version of the entire population. You know, if the whole group is half men and half women, your sample better reflect that too. It has to be a little mirror of the whole, whether we're talking about all the coffee drinkers in a city or all the voters in a state. And you don't just wing it. There's a clear, step-by-step process to get it right. First, you have to figure out how many people you actually need to talk to. Then, you decide how you're going to choose those people. And finally, you have to stick to that plan, no exceptions. Let's talk about that first step, sample size. This is the how many. And it's not a number you just pull out of a hat. It's a calculated decision. You need enough people so that your results are actually meaningful and not just a fluke. But you don't want so many that the project becomes crazy expensive or takes forever. It's a real balancing act. And then, maybe even more important, is the sampling method, the how you choose. This is your strategy for making sure that spoonful of soup is legit. It could be random sampling, where literally everyone has an equal shot of being picked. Or maybe it's something more complex, like dividing the population into groups, say by age, and then picking the right number from each group. If you get this wrong, the whole study is toast. Remember that infamous Dewey defeats Truman headline? The polls were dead wrong because their sampling method only reached wealthier people by phone, who happened to favor Dewey. The method was the fatal flaw. Okay, so let's keep building on this. Once you know exactly who you're going to ask, the next giant question is, well, how are you going to ask them? This is all about the different ways we can actually collect the information. You see, a good researcher is like a good carpenter. They have a whole toolkit, and you have to pick the right tool for the job. The one you choose depends entirely on the kind of question you're trying to answer. So let's look at 3 of the most common and powerful tools in that kit. First up, the one we've all seen, the survey. Yeah, any online poll, customer feedback form, or questionnaire you've ever filled out, that's survey research. It is the absolute go-to method when you need to get a whole lot of data from a whole lot of people and you need to do it fast. The name of the game here is breadth. You're casting a really wide net to see the big picture. But what if you want to know the why behind those answers? What if you need the story? That's where in-depth interviews are just brilliant. This is a one-on-one conversation where you can really dig deep into someone's personal experiences and their real motivations. With interviews, the goal isn't breadth, it's depth. And our third method is the focus group. This is where you bring a small group of people together for a guided discussion. And honestly, this is where the magic can happen. You get to see how people bounce ideas off each other, how opinions are formed in real time. You get insights that would just never come up in a one-on-one chat. And this table just lays it all out, nice and simple. It really shows you the trade-offs. Want broad data from a ton of people? Go with a survey. Need to understand one person's story inside and out? You need an in-depth interview. Want to see how ideas bubble up in a group? A focus group is absolutely your best bet. It really is all about picking the right tool for the job. So we've talked about the who and the how, but let's just zoom out for a second because it's so important to understand why any of this really matters. So here it is. This is why it all connects. Good sampling is what makes your findings believable in the first place. And picking the right data collection method is what gets you the right kind of answers. When you put those 2 things together, you have a powerful way to uncover some kind of truth. You can take a small, carefully chosen group of people and tell a really big and really accurate story. So, we've just walked through the basic toolkit that researchers use every single day to make sense of our world. These principles are working behind the scenes everywhere, from how your favorite apps get designed to how major public policies are made. And now that you have a peek at how it's done, it really just leaves one question. Now you have the tools. What story will you uncover?